Hey, marginally above average sim racers. Welcome to my first track walk. Hopefully this is helpful to you guys. It's my first one, so give me some feedback. Let me know what's helpful to you and what's not. So this lap here is a 1:28.992. This is my fastest lap. It's with full fuel at the start of qualifying conditions. So so this is what you can do with full fuel. A quick note, my brake bias is at 51%. That's 2 clicks forward. That's very important for how I approach these corners, specifically to help with trail braking without spinning. So as we come down the start-finish straight, the first point is coming across the start-finish line. Come across at about 129 miles an hour. So a little benchmark for you guys. And we come down to corner number 1, and corner number 1, just like every single corner that I take on this track, follows exactly the same pattern. Hard braking zone, followed by a trail braking through the corner, and turn in far earlier than you think you should. It's really about that early turn in and that trail braking that really makes this track work. First, track limits here is half the car on the green. So I like to keep my right tire just inside, just on the pavement, to avoid that off track. My brake marker is the 100, but I brake a little bit before it, just before it, and pretty hard brake pressure, 70%. I start my turn in around the 50 as I trail that brake off. So you see the brake is coming off as the steering is winding on. And then we're spotting this apex, and we're trying to come right across here. We do not want to hit the yellow curb. The yellow curb is pretty disruptive on this corner. So if you get this right, you should be able to get on the gas even before apex. As I'm coming over apex, I'm already at 78% throttle. I'm in second gear here as we come through. And then I'm trying to let the car kind of wash all the way out to the yellow curbing on the outside. So on the outside, if you let the car come out and just kind of hit this yellow curbing, it will bounce your car back in just a little bit. And so that's how you can make this really fast. You don't want to go over it. You're really likely to get a 1X. You can do it without one, but you really like to get a 1X. So I like to kind of just tap this corner on the way out. Flat out down to turn 3. Turn 3 is very similar. Let's see, track limits are pretty much the same. So half the car on the green. I like to keep my right tires on the tarmac. Braking just before the 100 with heavy brakes, some heavy brake pressure, probably 80%, 70%, and my visual marker for when I turn in, I'm looking for where the tarmac changes color, kind of as I go past that 50. So I'm kind of turning in, kind of feels like you turn in at this spot, even though you turn a little earlier. Again, trailing the brakes off, but keeping some brake pressure all the way through. So I still have brake pressure, even though my wheel is turned like almost 180 degrees. Don't want to hit this curb again. You want to stay to the inside of it. So try to get your right wheels right here. And then you'll be down in first gear here, and you want to roll that throttle on pretty early, right as you come through here. And that early turn in gets your car rotate a little bit more, and you can get that throttle on a little earlier. So even though I still have more than 90 degrees of turn angle, I can be on throttle without giving too much slip. I always get a little bit of slip here. A little bit of slip is fine. A lot of slip is not fine. So again, you let the car kind of come out. You can see there that I got slip, and I had to open the hands to correct for it, and then bring that steering back. Let the car again come all the way out to the yellow curbing, and that kind of bounced you in. You don't want to go over this curbing. One, it's a lot slower, so this kind of bounces your car, and you don't get as much run out of the corner, and you're likely to get a 1X. All right, down to turn 4. Turn 4 is pretty similar to the other 3. Same kind of track limits. My brake reference is the 100, but I'm braking before it. We're going to brake down to second gear, braking pretty hard just before the 100. So, 70, 80% here. I start to turn in what feels like really early again. So right about the 50 is where I start winding that steering on, coming on pretty slowly. As I wind that steering on, the brake is just falling off. And you're spotting this apex. You want to get your right tires up on this curbing. Ideally, you get your right tires onto this green curbing. I think I missed it here just a little bit. But you know, I'm trailing these brakes all the way through here. But once you get on this curbing, you can start adding throttle, and you can add throttle really fast. So here I'm up to 90%, getting up to 100%. And then on the turn exit, you want to use the space on the exit, but don't touch the gravel. The gravel's an insta spin. So let your car wash out. I like to keep my right or left tires on the curbing here, and then you can make the run to the next turn. So turn 5, that was turn 5, doesn't count. Turn 6, my brake marker is a 50, but where reference is a 50, my marker is about the 75. And turn 6, 7, and 9 all follow the same pattern. It's a harder initial braking, but not much. So 50%, 40%, followed by trail until you see you're on the apex and you roll the throttle. So here you see I'm already turning in, bringing that brake up to about 50%, turning in a lot earlier than you think you should. I've seen most people turn in pretty late, so turning in a lot earlier than you think you should, and trail that brake through here. The trail braking really helps that front end grip up and really gets you close to this curb. I'm coming from 4th gear down to 3rd gear. You can pop from 3rd down to 2nd, and sometimes I will do that right around here. What it can do is it can really help you rotate the car. You can also spin yourself doing that, and that's what I did last night in the practice race. So I usually keep it in 3rd, but you know, sometimes if I'm overslowing, I might go to 2nd. But I think 3rd's fast. So we want to get our left wheels up onto this curbing, and you will get onto this curbing a little bit past where it starts. You can't really get onto it here. If you do, you took the turn too shallow. So you want to get onto the curbing right about here. And I'm actually on throttle right about where this curbing starts. So I'm actually on throttle right there. We get onto this curbing, and I'm kind of just trying to figure out where that throttle needs to be so I can make that exit. So 50, 60, 70, 100%, back down a little bit because I knew I was a little overcooking it, bring it all the way out here. I am not entirely sure what the track limits are here. You can go over pretty far. Don't touch the gravel. That's your 1X. I think you can get your right wheels all the way over to here. Not entirely sure. I just kind of feel it. So here, my brake marker is where the tarmac changes from green to regular. And it's the exact same thing as before. So I'm going to brake 40, 50% brake pressure as I turn the car in. I'm not braking in a straight line and then turning. I'm braking when I turn in and then trailing that brake. And you don't need much. You can keep a lot of speed through here. And then you can get on the throttle. If you make this right, you can get on the throttle pretty early, right? I'm well away from this curbing before I'm even on the throttle. And then you get on this curbing pretty early. It rotates that car for you, and you can just nail it. Just put that throttle all the way down to the floor. And if you do that, you will never get an off track here. It just rotates the car for you, and it's just free. And you will gain like 0.4 of a second on the person you're following. Not much to say about here. Just don't touch the gravel. Don't go too far over to the right. Track out to the left here as you come up to the final turn. And then in the final turn, we have 2 turns, but I really think that philosophically they're kind of 1 turn. If you think about them as 2 turns, the second turn always surprises you. It comes too soon. So if you kind of think about it as a single turn where you just add a little throttle in the middle of the turn, kind of like a carousel or something like that, it kind of flows better. So my brake marker is a 50, or sorry, it's about 75. I'm spotting the 50. You will see that we do light brake pressure, 40, 50% pressure, and right away I'm starting to turn the car in just a little bit. Come off that brake by the 50, and then I'm turning in, but trailing that brake all the way through here. So that trail brake is really important to keep that nose happy. You want to get up on this curbing here, get your right wheels just onto this green. If you go too far, you can get an off track, but you want to get up on this curbing because it really helps that rotation. As you come through this curbing, I'm in 4th gear now. As you come through this curbing, you can start to get on that throttle, and you just roll on that throttle fourth gear, you let the car wash out and you kind of straighten out. But then right away, you're into the next turn. And my turn in is at this reference point. A lot of people I think are kind of using this as their brake marker. This is your point of reference, but you brake before it. So here we are braking before it, 40, 50%, starting that turn in at where this little extra tarmac ends. So we're starting that turn in, again, trailing that brake off. We're spotting this apex going down from fourth down to third. And you can take some of this curb here, unlike the other spots where they have this yellow curb. You can take some of this. It kind of like bounces you over it because you're going down. If you take too much, you'll get a 1X. Kind of unsettles the car a little bit. So I like to just take a little bit of it. And then you can get on the throttle right as you go past it. Kind of like turn one. You're just getting on the throttle as you go past it. And on the exit, you want to use all the space. And it's pretty easy to use all the space because this tarmac, it just really grips up this curbing. So as your car comes out onto it, it'll feel like you're gonna overshoot and you're gonna get that 1X if your right tire's onto this green or even a black flag. But your car kind of just rotates for you as you get onto that curbing. I think you can kind of see it here. You see it, there's just like a little extra rotation you get right when you get onto that. And then speed out down the front straight. So that's a lap around Red Bull Ring. I'll do a cockpit view for you guys and then post this the replay file so you guys can check this out.